This is Jeff Beck for Road Trail Run, coming to you from Denver, Colorado. In the last few months, I've reviewed a number of big mileage, big cushion daily trainers, so I thought I'd compare them. The shoes for this comparison are, in alphabetical order, Adidas Ultraboost 21, ASICS Gel Nimbus 23, Brooks Glycerin 19, Mizuno Wave Sky Neo, Nike React Infinity Run Flyknit, Nike ZoomX Invincible Run Flyknit, Saucony Endorphin Shift, Saucony Triumph 18. So as you can see, we've got a light snow going on. I debated holding off a couple days, but it's supposed to be like this off and on, so who knows what it's gonna be like. So instead of waiting, I figured just be happy that I have a roof over my balcony and get into it. Gonna go through these in alphabetical order as far as their objective stats. All of these shoes are 10.5 with the exception of this one, the Ultraboost 21, which was an 11. So any kind of weights I give are mostly an apples to apples comparison. But for this one, it is 14 ounces. It's $180 and the stack height is 20.5 in the front and 30.5 in the rear. Next up, the ASICS Nimbus 23, which tips the scales straight at 12 ounces, is $150 and is 21 millimeters in the front, 31 in the rear. Brooks Glycerin 19 is also $150 and 10.7 ounces. I haven't seen an official list yet for what that stack height is, but the last version was listed as 2131, and this one definitely has a little bit more. So, not quite sure. I'm sure in the coming weeks when this shoe comes out, we'll see. Kind of the same thing with this guy, the Mizuno Wave Sky Neo. It tips the scale. Oh, my apologies. The Glycerin was 10.7 ounces. The Mizuno is 12.8 ounces. I don't have a stack height there either. All I could find is that it's a 10 mil drop, and I don't really even have a price for you. It never officially came out in America, so it's all dependent on exchange rates, and looking around right now, you can find it for as low as 150 or as high as 270. I'd spend 150 if I were you, but you know, that's just me. Then the Nike React Infinity Run Flyknit. The replacement for it just came out, but it's $160. It's a 24-33 stack, and my copy in 10.5 was 10.6 ounces. Followed directly by its brother, the Nike ZoomX Invincible Run Flyknit, which is 10.9 ounces, will be out shortly at $180, and it's 27.6 and 36.6. Then the Saucony Endorphin Shift is the least expensive shoe on the list at $140. My copy weighs 11.3 ounces, and it's a 31-35 stack height. And then its big brother, the Triumph 18, which is also $150, and it weighs 12.1 ounces and is a 24-32 for stack height. As far as the comparison goes, I mean, the nice thing is we're living in the golden age of running shoes right now. Almost every shoe out there is really good. Some are incredible, some are just so-so. And that's, so much of it is personal opinion. You know, we're all an experiment of one, but some of these shoes seem to hit home for a lot of people, while others are a very vocal minority, which is awesome. You know, it's if you find whatever shoe works for you, that's the important thing. But right now, this shoe, the Invincible, is just killing it. It is so soft and bouncy. I really don't have anything bad to say about it. The big question is going to be its durability. I'm up to 50 miles now, and as you can see, there's some creasing here on the sidewall of the midsole, especially on the outer, the lateral side. The medial side, a little bit, but not much. Though I do spend most of my time, or all of my time as a supinator out here. Will it hold up to 200 or 300 miles? We'll see. What's interesting is right here, you can see that the swoosh is starting to get worn away. So this is the one spot where the rubber's a little thinner. But as far as a fun to run shoe, this one takes the cake in my opinion. It's really not that heavy. I mean, it's just under 11 ounces, though these are big mileage daily trainers. I mean, these aren't meant to be lightweight shoes. This is meant to be a comfortable shoe. You're gonna spend a couple hours in this shoe at a time. So why sacrifice an ounce or ounce and a half for something that isn't as comfortable? I don't know, that's just my soapbox. Next up, on my tier list would be the Glycerin 19. Huge step forward for Brooks. The midsole is so much better than it's been the last couple years. Part of it is it got a little bit wider. Not much, just a couple millimeters, but it's enough. The upper works well, but the upper's never been the issue. But it's got a really nice wide toe box, got a lot of height, but it's really good protection, really a fun to run shoe. And it's been a while since you could say a Glycerin was fun to run. It would protect you, but it didn't give many smiles. And I really think this shoe is now providing smiles, so that's awesome. Next on my list, kind of a dark horse, is the Wave Sky Neo. It's expensive, it's hard to get, but it feels so good on the foot. Mizuno's new midsole Energy, it's interesting. It kind of feels like it has the density of like a Power Run Plus from Saucony or even a Boost from Adidas, but there's more bounce to it. It's well protected. It is heavy. It is expensive. It is hard to find. So I can't say, oh, everyone should run on and get this. No, but if you are looking for a very comfortable all-day trainer, you could do a lot worse than this. Completely shifting gears to the Endorphin Shift, I think this shoe really is a lot better than it should be. Part of it uses their Power Run midsole instead of Power Run Plus. It's firmer, it doesn't seem all that responsive, but so much of it comes from this geometry. You know, it has such a pronounced rocker. It doesn't feel like it has much bounce, but more like spring to it, which I've seen a number of discussions, you know, trying to break down the difference between bounce and spring. And personally to me, bounce has always felt like a protective type thing as you bottom out on the shoe and then you come back up. It's more of a vertical, where spring is all about heading forward. A lot of shoes these days that come with plates feel springy when you run in them. But even a number of shoes in recent past before plates became popular, I think of the New Balance 1400 as a very springy shoe. You know, you go to the track and put down a fast mile, every step there is kind of a spring to it, which is fun, but maybe not what you want for your daily trainer. But you look how tall that midsole is, there's a lot of protection there. Next was the follow-up to my shoe of the year for 2019. Here's the Triumph 18, which it's a really fun shoe. Kind of the same way that it's dense, but not quite as much bounce back as Mizuno's Energy. But a really solid shoe. If you're gonna go have a long, slow day where you're gonna spend 90 minutes or 2 or 3 hours on your feet, this is not a bad choice at all. There's just a lot of protection there. It's a little on the heavy side, just breaking 12 ounces in a 10.5, but it has a really nice solid toe box. But I mean, virtually everything on this list has a really nice solid toe box, so I feel like the manufacturers have been listening, which is nice. The ASICS Nimbus 23 is a shoe that I think will get lost by a lot of people, but it shouldn't. ASICS has done a lot of good things with this midsole. It's soft. It's softer than the Triumph, but it doesn't feel as solid. I personally probably wouldn't do a 2 or 3 hour slow run in this. there's just not that much protection. Even though stack height wise, it's in the ballpark, it just doesn't protect the foot nearly as well. But the toe box feels really nice. And all the materials feel really nice. It just has kind of that feeling like you might bottom out a little too quickly. The Nike React Infinity, its ride is really good. React is a solid midsole material for me, but there were too many issues with this shoe. Primarily right here in the midst, the rails that they put in order to give the shoe extra stability. Every single step this dug into my arch. And I mean, you can see the wear. These used to be white. I mean, there's the initial color and here's the kind of tannish brown, and I never wore these on trails. Every single step just didn't feel good. Also, I ended up having to use a leather punch and add a couple eyelets because I was getting some major heel slip. And due to the construction of the shoe, you couldn't put in a runner's loop as it was. Luckily, a $15 leather punch, and about 30 seconds later, I had added 2 extra little holes right there and right there, introduced a runner's loop, and that went away. But I mean, those aren't little things. I mean, it is a pretty fun shoe, and it has a very nice wide platform. But if you are not a stability runner, or I have fairly normal height arches, and these just dug in every single step. Last shoe on my list would be the Ultraboost 21. I really want to like this shoe. I think aesthetically it's one of the best looking shoes out there. But it's heavy at 14 ounces, and it just runs so awkwardly. I don't think it's a bad shoe because it's heavy. I think that just runs alongside of it. I think this accentuated plate does not work. I mean, yeah, it helps keep the shoe a little more stable and a little less flexible than previous Ultraboosts, but that wasn't the issue. It's like they tried to solve something that wasn't a problem and created a new one, and there's just so much boost. And if you're a dyed-in-the-wool heel striker, this might be absolutely what you're looking for. Personally, I think boost is really lacking in 2021. When it came out in 2013, it was revolutionary, but things have changed quite a bit since then. So I really have a hard time putting this on the same level as the other shoes. But I'm curious. I'm curious what other people who have run in a few of these, what you guys think. I'll be following along in the comments. So if you have any questions, by all means, dive in and ask away. I'd love. I mean, I'm a running shoe geek. I like talking about this stuff. So if you have any questions or comments or any kind of input, please feel free to leave it, and we'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.